self-doubt is a confirmation of a certain conflict that we have within us that doesn't allow us to access our full potential and to truly embrace who we truly are. And it brings us in a state of confusion.
How did we evolve in our childhood, and were we criticized? And most likely we were. The relationship we have with our parents is what we have with the world, and the relationship we had with our childhood is what we have with life. So unless we have dealt with the unresolved issues of being criticized and the abuse and trauma, this will be projected into our daily life.
It's the programming, and self-doubt just comes back as those learned programs that will kind of derail us from that feeling of the infinite potential that we truly are.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Conscious Kingdom. I appreciate you being here, and we're looking forward to sharing with you another of one of our experiences based on some topics that we've explored and researched.
Yes. The topic of self-doubt has been coming up quite a lot on the search engines, and it kind of shows the trend that has been infiltrating the minds of the people, because self-doubt is a very natural occurrence, it's a very natural state, but we just wanted to kind of shed the light on what it actually represents in our lives and how it can serve us.
Yes, this comes in when we are, say, forced to grow, or if we decide to grow. It depends on the perception at the time, right? So if we're forced to grow, we may have doubts. So the world is going through a shift at the moment, exponential growth through technology, and of course our daily habits that we had before the pandemic were challenged. So we had to confront ourselves. So of course the natural thing that's going to come up is self-doubt. And the beautiful lesson that this is teaching all of us is to go within. Go within, do the work within, so not relying on the outside world. As you've probably noticed, the outside world, governments, corporations and things like this may not have your best interest at heart. So it's not relying on outside, it is really doing the inner work as a people, as a civilization, as a society, as a community.
And everything that has self in front of it, like for example self-doubt, self-esteem, self-love, it kind of highlights the importance of responsibility in choosing that state of mind. So self-doubt is a confirmation of a certain conflict that we have within us that doesn't allow us to access our full potential and to truly embrace who we truly are. And it brings us in a state of confusion that kind of gives us all the information that might have been given to us by our parents or peers or society or whatever. We keep on talking about that. But it's the programming, and self-doubt just comes back as those learned programs that will kind of derail us from that feeling of the infinite potential that we truly are.
Self-doubt is characterized by feelings of uncertainty regarding one or more aspects of the self. It is something that we all may experience at certain times in our lives. Those with insecure attachments may have experienced being criticized that can contribute to self-doubt later in life. So that relates to our childhood. How did we evolve in our childhood, and were we criticized? And most likely we were. We've been saying it amongst ourselves, and we've been saying it a long time, that the relationship we have with our parents is what we have with the world, and the relationship we had with our childhood is what we have with life. So unless we have dealt with the unresolved issues of being criticized and the abuse and trauma, this will be projected into our daily life. And these are why we do these videos, because a lot of it stems from that first entrance into the world and our first experience of what relationships were about.
Yes, and self-doubt, as we said before, is a very natural occurrence, a very natural state. And just recently we did a presentation on the manifestation principles for the conscious kingdom. And we described the different principles and the different processes that are, helping manifestation of the desired outcome. And we wanted to really emphasize the importance of staying in a moment of faith. So the reason why we so often get different results is because we keep on going between the two states. We keep on going between the state of love and faith and the support and protection into the state of self-doubt, which brings us into this yo-yo state or into the seesaw state of this inner dialogue that we have within us between all is well, all is great, it's all working out for me, to I can't do it, I'm not capable, my mom always told me that I can't. And because of that, we're sending out these mixed signals and the mixed resonance, or the mixed, how would you call it, like vibrations that do support our manifestation process, but unfortunately it kind of makes it go from one extreme to the next just because you are doubting yourself.
And you know what's interesting from the Oxford Dictionary, the subjective state of uncertainty with regard to the truth or reality of anything, undecidedness of belief or opinion, the condition of being objectively uncertain, a state of affairs such as to give an occasion for hesitation or uncertainty. And when this state is connected to oneself, defined as that which in a person is intrinsically he, in contradistinction to what is adventitious, the ego a permanent subject of successive and varying states of consciousness. That's quite a vast, tongue-tied look at what self-doubt is. But looking at that, it comes down to a state of uncertainty, right?
Yeah.
You look really confused.
I do, because I do find it's a little bit too complicated, and it's just as simply as you have described. It's a state of uncertainty.
Yeah, I guess it makes it feel very wordy and mindy. So you're given this, you're looking at it, reading it now, and it kind of leaves you a bit undecided. Sometimes you can read something and feel more doubt because you don't understand it.
So it basically brings us exactly to that state that we're describing. And usually, if you watch Tony Robbins's performances or Tony Robbins's magic on TV, you will find that whenever somebody finds themselves in a state of uncertainty or the state of self-doubt, he really celebrates it. He goes, yeah, everybody give a round of applause. You know, they are uncertain, they're confused right now.
Yep.
This is what we want to bring you to, is that state of uncertainty, that state of doubt and insecurity is exactly the state that brings you to the point before the major breakthrough. Now it's up to you whether you want to stay in a state of uncertainty, how long you want to stay in a state of uncertainty. Everybody's threshold for uncertainty is different. Now, for example, in our case, we can withstand a lot of uncertainty, but at the same time, we don't like to stay there. So we try to find whatever possible means of gaining that self-confidence in order to go to the next level and to the next level and to the next level.
It's absolutely right. The quality of your life is dependent on the uncertainty you can handle. You don't want to live in uncertainty, but you don't want to live within your comfort zone. So it's finding that balance and trusting yourself that you will find that faith and hope, whatever it is within you, that you will be guided through that uncertainty and you will shine. You'll come out as a diamond. Rather than being pulled away by your emotions into despair. And a lot of people don't have the tools, not really the understanding that this is a part of life, that we're going to get resistance. And we need that resistance to grow against. Going to the gym, picking up a weight, you need the resistance to grow a muscle. So life brings its weight, shall we say, for you to grow against. And if you resist that, that's where the pain is, you know. And if you try to avoid growing, then, as again Tony says, if you're not growing, you're dying. So it's finding that balance to know yourself of how much you can handle, your capacity of growth is, and to go at your pace, but also learning and adapting by picking up resources, listening to videos like this, to better equip you so that you go through the natural transitional growth in a really streamlined and healthy way, that it doesn't put too much stress on the body and the mind and the psyche. So it's just navigating it. And when you realize that, you feel like you can take on anything and decide to take on any project or put yourself out there and really you start to, the self-doubt dissipates, and it doesn't become a thing you're concerned about every time you're met with a challenge.
Well, self-doubt is an unresourceful state. Yeah, so when you're in a state of self-doubt, you have access to no resources, but you're going round and round in circles, right? But in it, self-doubt has amazing potential of, growth and leadership skills and, courage. And the beauty of that is that having to come across self-doubt over and over again, so as Alex says, you build resilience towards it, and being able to acknowledge that. So this is where I think it's very difficult for a lot of people, is that they try to avoid the feeling of self-doubt. They try to avoid the feeling of confusion. So what they usually do is keep themselves in the illusion that they are not there. They distract themselves with other things. They try to focus. They try to focus everywhere else but that feeling of self-doubt, and that is the actual trick.
Yeah, it's exactly that. It's a trickery to. It's like if you're feeling that, then you're not enough, right? If you don't know everything, then you're not enough. So you'd rather portray that you know everything, and if anyone challenges you, you react to push them away, and then you go into your hiding place or whatever that looks like. And part of our manifestation talk, we looked at that, what is your strategy for nobody going there? And we all have it, and it's understanding, if it's your partner or your children or whatever it is. You can see it in your children when they don't know something, they react and they express what we suppress, in such a way that when you're aware of that, and even seeing our little one earlier today, I was sort of seeing, what is he expressing right now that maybe I'm suppressing, exploring that it's an inward journey even for myself or whatever they are doing. So taking full responsibility for everything, even for ourselves, Julia's going through an expansive time, which means I'm going through an expansive time, even if I don't want to go through that expansive time, and vice versa. And it's interesting to see how we react going through it, to become aware and as compassionate as we can be for the fact that we're growing again. And you think you're taking a breath and you're like, okay, we can rest for a moment. No. The universe goes, oh, okay, okay, resting for a bit. And then something else comes along and it's like, okay, here we go. And we get back up again because there is more, we have a big vision. And are we who we need to be in order to live that vision right now? No. But we need to fill the gap, and it's a big gap to fill, which means that we have to grow exponentially and deal with the human aspect, that the spirit wants to expand so much that the human side is like, breaks, let's look for this, create an illness, let me lie down, or whatever it is, sabotage here or there to put the brakes on. And it's quite interesting to observe it and see it happen, the emotions that take place, because, it's a strategy. And to be kind to yourself that, okay, the strategy is in place because we're trying to halt the speed of the growth, and we go extremely fast. If anybody's around us will know, and that's why we're sharing with our experience, because we're dealing with so much that we want you to be aware of that so you can grow and expand, allow your spirit to expand and know how to deal with it from a human aspect.
Beautiful. Well, you know what, self-doubt is a paralyzing state. Yeah, when you're in self-doubt, you know that you are not moving anywhere. Self-doubt lives in the mind. Yeah, if you are in your heart, you have absolutely no self-doubt, because heart is expansive, as Alex says. Heart is unlimited. Heart has all the answers at all points in time. And self-doubt, or say mind, tries to rationalize our experiences. So when it tries to rationalize our experiences, it only draws its reserve from the information that it has in the mind, which means that it brings up only the past experiences. When you are in a leap of faith dynamic, when you are expanding and growing, that means you have to face something you've never had faced before. This is where the mind doesn't necessarily apply. It can warn you, it can serve, because ego does serve, mind does serve as this certain history and information bank that gives you enough information just to make you aware enough before you make the next step. But mind can never solve the issues that it has created itself. Only the heart does. And there is one thing that I would like to really highlight here, that in the moment of self-doubt, we don't belong to ourselves. In the moment of self-doubt, we belong to programming, whether it is a programming of our parents, programming of our society, programming of our teachers. We are then running on the programming that is designed to keep us suppressed, right? And self-doubt is encouraged by those who are manipulating you. And self-doubt is a tool for manipulation. This is why when you see a lot of victims, they are permanently in a state of self-doubt because they are, I will call it abusers, but in the larger scheme of things, the angels of the universe, they are keep on bringing them back to the reality where they are powerless, where they don't have the resources, where they're not good enough, where they don't know enough. So it is a manipulation technique that keeps you running on the program of somebody else's design so that you may fulfill their need. And this is something that I would like you guys to please be aware of, because it is a very common practice of, say, abusers or manipulators. It is an old grid, something that we don't have in our reality any longer because we have surpassed it, thank God. Not in an egoistic way, but more in a way of expansion.
Learning the lessons and making sure the lessons don't repeat themselves.
Yeah.
And, you know, when you are, as Julia's saying, in that self-doubt, you are seeking something outside of yourself, which already means you're seeking trouble to stir up what's already inside you. So once you get rid of the self-doubt, and I don't mean cockiness or, you know, ego, it's really understanding it so you can apply it to your life with compassion, because you've lived through that experience, you've seen it, you've learnt the lessons, and it's like when you're way into your ego and you're overly confident, the universe will come along and slap you. So there's a kind of difference. So it's being aware of the difference, not to go out there and fill yourself as, I guess, big-headed. You know, just humble yourself before the outside world does. And for those of you who are going, okay, I'm getting an understanding of what self-doubt is, and it goes a lot deeper, as we can see. I mean, we could do videos for a long time on this alone. But we understand that you know you need something now, and for us to help us through certain situations of self-doubt, which you can feel free to read the affirmations. The affirmations or phrases we use when we're feeling stuck in self-doubt, which really helps to repeat.
So there are a few affirmations or phrases that we use when we feel stuck in self-doubt or repeating unproductive thoughts. I am perfect exactly as I am. I am growing and becoming. I am enough. I am right where I'm supposed to be. I have all that I need within me now. I am here for a purpose. I love myself. I am here. I am abundant.
That's beautiful. You know, when you pause and take a moment like that and just give yourself the space, it kind of feels like there is a barrier around, and you create your own sort of ecosystem protecting you from outside energy. When you affirm that and you really believe it, and it's a ritual that we've talked about in other videos that we do in the morning, to align with that energy, even if it feels with your mind that it's not real, it's not possible, but you really have to have faith to know it is, and to speak it and really feel it. So other strategies of how to overcome self-doubt: try not to compare yourself to others, which we did a video on social media, which obviously is going to have a heavy impact on yourself if you're comparing yourself to others who say they've got, depending on what you see as success, someone's got a fast car and you don't have a fast car, you have a donkey, I don't know. You're comparing yourself, right? Somebody's always going to have something more, but then what does that make you? And if you suddenly make the decision to yourself, well, they have this, so I am less, but depending on what your values are, you can Find there's always something in your life that you value. Remember, no one is perfect. Talk to a life coach to help. Be mindful of your thinking and take action to correct your thought patterns immediately. There's a trick where you can wear an elastic band. If you feel yourself going to doubt or negativity, you can pull the elastic band and snap you out of it, because it's just an illusion. Spend time journaling. I use an app called Penzu, Penzu, and it's all online. Identify your core values. So knowing who you are, so nobody takes you off the path towards what they value, so you're not comparing yourself to them. Know who you are, know what your values are, focus on yourself and become the best version of yourself. Once you attain and start focusing on that type of goal and not on a person or what other people are doing, then you will disconnect from that feeling of feeling minimized. You can start expanding yourself, ultimately comparing against yourself or what you did the day before, and the power's then in your hands. Come on, babe.
Lovely. So just to round it off, self-doubt really is a state of insecurity. But how do we turn insecurity into insecurity? Because what we have reflecting to us in the outside world, whichever resources we have available to us, are always a reflection of your inner abundance and your inner resourcefulness. Turning yourself inwardly and nurturing those resources within you, and affirming your state of complete abundance, being perfect, whole and complete. Keep on having that loving dialogue, self-nurturing dialogue with you. Self-love is the ultimate antidote. You know, self-love is the antidote to self-doubt. And if you haven't had the chance to actually see what the real love is, because it has never been shown to you, because the world is can be quite a contrasting place, then nurture it within yourself. Find within you the qualities and the attributes that deserve love and attention. And every single time you find yourself in a time of self-love, self-doubt, go inwardly and breathe into your heart. Take a minute to breathe into your heart and allow those breaths to just come in without judgment, where you kind of disengage your mind. You ask it to rest and you ask the heart to take over. So during those times, you can then shower yourself with that renewable energy of love. And it's only through there, you can thank yourself for all the states of uncertainty. Because in those states of uncertainty, you were always called within. And honor that process, because only through going within can you resolve anything that goes on the outside.
Thank you guys for catching our video. Appreciate it, and would love to hear about your comments and what you think and feel about this, and anything else you want us to explore. We're here.
Thank you guys. Thank you. Much love.